Hello everyone, this is Muted and Nuts, and today we'll be continuing our beginner-friendly Road to SCP video series. Today we'll be looking at another hack-the-box machine, that is Bastion. Bastion is based on Windows and the difficulty is easy, so let's just get started. So first thing what I always do is I run an auto-recon scan. If you guys don't know what auto-recon is, it's an enumeration tool. It's going to do few nmap scans at first on the target machine, and based on the open ports and services, it's going to do additional scans on them. So 95% of the time it works really great, but sometimes you have to manually enumerate things further. So it's like not always rely on an automated scan or something. Okay, so I'll be running this autorecon.py file as root. So I'll be giving sudo over here because I'm running the box as Kali, not root. I'll be giving Python 3 over here in order to run this autorecon.py file, and this autorecon is available on GitHub, so you can get it from there. I'll be giving the target IP address, that is 10.10.10.134 in the case of Bastion, and I'll be giving the O switch for output directory, so wherever I want to actually save my scan results. So let's just look at the scan result, because obviously this scan takes quite some time, so I don't want to run it again. So first thing what I always do is I look at the full TCP nmap scan, and if we see over here we have multiple ports open. I know it may be very confusing, and since so many ports are open, we have to try to enumerate things in all these ports. So let's just start with port 22. We have port 22 over here running SSH, and that is open, right? So obviously, and this version, I don't think there are any exploits for this. So mostly you will be doing brute force attack over here or something like that. So let's just leave that for our, keep it as a last resort. So we have multiple MSRPC ports, like we have one port over here that is 135, and also we have 139 that is running NetBIOS. We have 445 that is, obviously there's nothing mentioned over here, but obviously it's running the SMB server, and we also get Windows OS information over here as well. And also we have two HTTP ports, so don't get mistaken into these ports like the web application. If you see a HTTP, that does not mean there's a web application or web server always involved. But yeah, this particular application is for WSMAN, so that Windows remote service, so you can log in remotely. Okay, so that's why it is present, I guess. And I obviously did try checking these ports over here, but I don't think I could find anything. I could not log in as well using evil WinRAM. That maybe we'll check out later on in some other box. But yeah, so later on, this is one thing, and also we have multiple MSRPC ports over here. And okay, so let's just look below, and we see that we obviously have the OS information over here, and we also get the computer name, that is like the host name, that is Bastion. Okay, so we get something over here, we do not get anything else. And okay, use supported. Okay, so what we'll try to do now is, since we looked at the full TCP nmap scan, right, and we looked that there are multiple scans present over here. Okay, so I know it may look confusing, so let's just start with the SMB scan first, like if we have anything interesting over here. So actually GoBuster, sorry, not GoBuster, my bad, AutoRecon actually enumerates things for you. So once it found that 445 port was open, it actually tried to do additional scan, that is this SMB Client Scan, and we see that you have some shares listed over here. If shares are listed, that means you have access, like anonymous access or guest access. Okay, so we have this thing present over here. My bad, sorry. We have this thing present over here, and what we can do is we'll try to enumerate this further. But what I want to show you all is we have SMB client which has listed shares over here, but if we look at SMB map over here, it says authentication error. Okay, so if you look at SMB map list content, it says the same thing, share permissions, same thing. So in short, we got something in SMB client. That does not mean that SMB map is not useful, that tool. Probably there was some command error or something done by the autorecon file. Okay, or maybe that particular thing was not present. That's why I'm saying, it's not always you just follow this blindly. You have to manually enumerate things as well, because obviously autorecon will do as much as it knows, or it's written in that code, right? So you have to manually enumerate and try to check things. Other thing what I want to mention to you all is, if you all want to see any of these commands, right, what command was used for that, you can check it out in the commands log. Okay, so this is how it looks like. So if you see, it does enum for Linux scan and SMB client, SMB map. So this was what it did, the edge switch and the target IP and the port. Okay, so this is what it did, and it did not give us proper result. So let's just look into it. Probably you can play around with it, check the commands. Sometimes there are some new ports which are coming and there are some scans running for that. You can check it out in the commands, like what was used for this particular thing. But obviously we'll just check SMB client first. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to list down shares from SMB client. So we'll do that with SMB client. I guess you can give the I switch. No, I think L. Yeah, L for listing, and also the target IP address, that is 10.10.10.134 in the case of Bastion. Okay, so I think if we give this, it says enter password, just hit enter. So this is happening because there's guest access allowed. So if guest access is allowed, you do not have to enter any password. So you can just press hit enter, and we get this list of share. Okay, so we have like backups over here, remote admin, default share, and remote IPC as well. Okay, so we get these shares over here. You can probably try to copy it and paste it in your cherry tree so that it does not get confusing later. And we can mention as shares. Okay, so what we'll try to do is we have this thing present over here, right? So now we'll just try and see if we can do the same thing with SMB map. Obviously SMB map, if you check out the usage, it will say like, you need to enter this small u over here. Okay, not capital U, and also probably you can enter something like blank for now, and we'll enter the edge switch, so that is the host switch, and we'll be entering 10.10.10.134. We're trying to do something similar what SMB client. So SMB client and SMB map are two different applications. Okay, so it says authentication error, so we do not get anything. So that's the reason, because if we try and add guest over here now, so we get something like, okay, obviously there's an IP and it says like, working on it. It says unable to remove test directory. But in short, we got something over here, right? So this is what we got. So let's just copy this. SMB client, SMB map. Okay, so this is what we got over here, and obviously there's some formatting issue over here, but let's just look into this. We have read access or write access over here as well on the backups directory. Okay, so in admin share, obviously we do not have any access, and C share as well, we do not have any access over here. So we have read access on IPC as well as backups, right? So what we can do is, since we have access, and I don't think guest is only required, you can probably add some other user over here, so that it will consider it as guest. Give it a nudge. Yeah, so it says now guest session, and also the same thing, similar thing. Okay, so you can probably do that. So what we'll try to do now is, we have this SMB map listed, right? We can do the same with SMB client, but SMB client is more useful, like, a shell kind of a thing. So once you have the share which is listed, right, you can use backups over here, and you can have like a mini shell kind of thing. You can get files or something. So obviously that it does in like, SMB map request or something like that, but it's not a proper shell, but it mimics like a shell. So what we'll try to do now is, in short, if you want to see what all files you have access to, right, so we can do SMB map, we can do U, and we can just press this capital R switch. So in short, it will list down all the shares or files present inside the SMB map where we have access. So obviously this may take some time to load, so let's just look into it. So if we look over here, we have multiple files present, right? So obviously we have access to backups. So backups share is present over here, and inside backups there's a image, a Windows image backup directory, and multiple directories present. So this L4, MP, JE, PC directory is present. There's some backup over here, and there is a VHD file present over here, okay, and multiple XML files. So we just looked at this, and we see like there are some other files as well. And also over here we come to IPC, right? We have some files present over here. So we can go and manually enumerate things over here first. But backups looks interesting because obviously we have this backups directory and it looks like some host name over here. It looks like some host name, and also we have some host or user's name. Okay, also we have VHD file present over here. Also we have these XML files present. Obviously, let's just what we'll try to do is, since we saw that something interesting is present in this backup share, right? So we'll just use SMB client for that now. Okay, so we'll use SMB client. We'll be giving we have to mention it this way, the share, because it's a network share, right? So we'll just mention it this way and we'll enter backups over here now. We'll enter backups, we'll give you, I don't think we require to give you, so you for username. So over here it's capital in SMB client. So we'll be giving I switch, okay, and also we'll be giving I is for this particular target machine's IP address. So you have to give I over here, and SMB map you have to give H. So what we'll try to do is we'll just add 10.10.10.134, and also in SMB client we can give the N switch so that you don't ask for any password or something, right? Okay, so that means, so if we look over here, if we just enter dir, it's like a mini shell. So we just get a mini shell kind of a thing. We have something like node.txt file over here. So we'll just try to get that node.txt file, and okay, so we actually got it, get as in copy it from the SMB share. So that will download it to our attack machine. So let's just look into it. I think we were in the workplace directory. It says like sysadmins, please do not transfer the entire backup file locally. The VPN, okay, is too slow. Okay, in short, I think probably it's hinting that the entire VHD file over here should not be copied locally. Like I just did get, right? So usually what I always do is in SMB map or in SMB shares, I just put the recurse on, prompt off, and I use mget all. So that means all the directories and files present will come into my system. So I can actually check it out very nicely and with no confusion or something. But in this case, obviously that VHD file is so huge, so it does not make sense because it will take a long time to actually get downloaded. So what we'll try to do is, let's just go to the Windows image backup, and obviously first time when I do the box, I check for multiple things, right? So if any other directories also are present, I look for that. So let's just go over here first, and we have this directory again over here. Let's just paste it. Okay, let's just use, sorry, we have this backup directory over here. So copy it, Control Shift C, CD quotes, put it in quotes because it has spaces, otherwise it will error out. And we see over here we have these two VHD files. Okay, so if you see this VHD file over here, so this is like 9,000 bytes. So that means like 1 KB, so 10 KB, 100 KB. So it's a huge file. Okay, so it's not small. It's probably, I guess, around GB's size or something. So gigabytes. So we have these two files. So that does not make sense, to actually get it from the SMB share. So obviously, if we want to access this particular file, okay, let's just try to access it or something. We'll try to mount this entire SMB share, okay, into our attack machine. So in attack machine's MNT directory, we can try and actually mount the entire backup share. So I'll just show you all how it works. And obviously when I first did the box, I tried to get all these XML files over to check for any passwords or something, but I was not successful in anything. But yeah, so if you guys want, you can check these things out as well. And yeah, so what we'll try to do is we'll just exit over here for now, and we'll go to the MNT directory over here. So let's just go to MNT CD MNT. So MNT is in the root directory. This MNT directory is present. Root directory as in like a Linux machines, attack machines root directory, not the root folder where the root user is present, but the root directory. This MNT directory is present in all the Linux boxes. So we have MNT over here, so we can check out files. Obviously we do not have anything as of now. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to create a file. Okay, before that, if we want to mount that entire SMB share, right, we need to actually do two things. First thing is obviously we have to create a directory, and second thing is we have to add that mount, like SMB mount done. So first, actually we'll require multiple root usage over here. So I'll just try to get a bash shell. So this is what we do in few Linux boxes as well, like the target machine. So we can get, something. So obviously I'm root over here now. If I do, who am I? I'm root. Because I'm not root over here. I'm running it as Kali, but we require root for multiple things. So I'm just, doing this simple thing. Okay. So we'll just create a directory for now. We'll just create a directory named backup or backups maybe. And if you look over here, we have this directory present backups. Okay, so we'll go over here and just check how to mount SMB share Linux. As simple as that, we get this thing present and it says like install CIFS. I think it's already present in Kali Linux, but if it's not present, you guys can go and install it in this way. And also it says like create a mount point, right? So that means that's what we did. We just created that backups directory. That is done. Obviously you can open this article and read, and also we can take these commands over here. So this is what it's mentioning, mount the volume. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to paste it. Okay, so obviously we need to change few things over here. This is that SMB share path and this is that backup share path. So obviously backup will come over there, backups, this is output directory. So as in it will output the entire SMB share to this particular backups directory which we created over here. Which we created over here, backups, right? So that is done, output is done, now input is remaining. So we have that SMB share, right? We had backups over here and also the target IP address, that is 10.10.10.134. Okay, I did not change anything over here, left it as it is because this is what we require to actually mount it. So let's just do that and hit enter. It says like set a password for that share or something. I do not want to enter anything, so I'll just press enter over here and I think it's done. So now if we go to backups, okay, we have that entire backups share listed over here. Okay, so if I see node.txt, right? So earlier I used get node.txt to download it into attack machine, but now I can literally use like cat node.txt. So that means the same file has come over here. So obviously this is not like the entire thing did not get downloaded, but in short this is like network share. We have mounted it into our system, so we can access these files from our local system as well. Obviously it's present on the network, so each thing is going to request for the the target machine. Okay, I know it's a bit confusing maybe, but most of you guys obviously may be knowing, but it's nothing that it's not hard to understand. It's not rocket science, it's very easy. So that's how mounting works. Okay, so now if we go to this Windows image backup directory, the same path over there, so now we can use LSLA as well. So because we are in the attack machine itself, cd try to copy this cd. So we have this VHD file present over here, right? So what we'll try to do is, now we'll obviously when I did the box first, we have some VHD file present. So that is VHD is nothing but virtual hard drive. Okay, so that means it's a virtual hard drive present over here, and there'll be couple of files present inside it because the size is very huge, right? So there are two files present, but what we are looking for is the one which which has a lot of information present over here probably because the size is huge over here. So obviously there'll be something over here as well. If this does not work, probably we can try this. But obviously I tried this because of the file size and I was successful over there. So let's just see what it is. So obviously we have this VHD file and we need to open this VHD file. So probably if we do cat or something like that, I think it's... So that's a huge thing, right? So obviously we need something to happen in a readable format. Okay, for some reason there are like multiple non-readable characters over here. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to check how can we mount a VHD file in our attack machine. Okay, that means in our Linux machine. Okay, so it's as good as this VHD file is as good as a pen drive, USB pen drive or USB external hard drive, right? It has some files present, so we need to read it and check and connect it to our Linux machine. So what we'll try to do is how to mount VHD file in Linux. Okay, so we come across this page over here, I guess, and also this Stack Overflow present over here. So if we see over here, it says like you require a tool that is guest mount, obviously, and you require to install this particular thing, libguest fs tools. So this is what I had to install as well, okay, and after that you can probably mount the VHD directory over here. So this is the command which you use, and obviously I did install this, when first time when I did the box, I did install this. So I'm not going to install it again. It takes quite some time. So you guys can go and probably install this particular thing. Sorry, using this. And also what I'll try to do is I'll just copy this now, and I'll try to paste it over here and see if it works. So we are guest mount, add your virtual disk. Okay, before that what we'll try to do is, okay, so in short we'll try to create a directory first. Obviously okay, we'll just look into it over here. So this is the output, right? Read only. I think there's some read only mode over here, and this is the output over here. So that means we need to create another directory, like how we created for backups, right? We need to create another directory over here, probably like VHD or something, and also we need to add our VHD file location. So now since it's mounted on the MNT backups directory, right? So we have to add that entire path over here, okay, and this we just leave it as it is, add an inspector, only these things we have to change over here. Okay, so what we'll try to do is we'll just probably SLA, we'll just get the location of this file, WD VHD location. I need that because I need to add this particular path in that over here, this place, right? So I need that entire location over there. Okay, so we have this thing, just copy this. Okay, so let's just go to cd mnt. We are over here, we have this backups directory present, right? What we'll try to do is we'll just try to create another directory that is VHD over here. So let's just do that, mkdir and VHD. So now we have backups and VHD as well. If we go to VHD now, obviously we do not get anything over here. So what we'll try to do is we'll run this guest mount command over here. The same command which we copied from here, right? Because after we install this tool, because I already have it installed, but if you guys don't have it, you'll probably have to install this. Okay, so we have guest mount present over here, and we require the path to this VHD file. So let's just copy it from here, copy it and paste it. Put it in quotes because this particular thing has spaces over here, so it will maybe error out. Obviously it's gonna error out. And MNT directory over here present, we added the VHD file directory, right? Sorry, VHD directory. So we'll just add that. That's it. We just have to enter the input file. So now this file is actually present in our mount directory, right? So that's why we are entering that, and we have inputted this entire thing. So that's why first we had to mount the SMB share in the backups directory in our attack machine. Then after that we are trying to mount a VHD file from that SMB share which is present in the backups. So we are trying to mount that particular file into this VHD directory over here. Okay, so that's what we are trying to do. Let's just hit enter. Obviously it takes some time to actually complete, so let's just wait for that. Don't think that it got stuck, but obviously it takes some time. So let's just look at the scan results for now till the time that particular guest mount thing gets done. So if we see over here, we have multiple SMB map things, right? So over here there was no user listed, and over here if you see, user was listed, but for some reason this password was left blank, so that's why it gave an error. Another thing is that I have recently upgraded it to Kali 2020.3, okay, so the third version, and also SMB map was not working initially. So when I actually updated it, I was doing some box, okay, some Windows box, and that SMB thing was working fine, SMB map was working fine, but then I updated the box, okay, so that SMB map stopped working for some reason. It was giving an authentication error, so I had to update the SMB map file as well. So once I did that, then it started working fine. So I had to go on GitHub and get it updated or something. So that's what I did, and that's how SMB map started working. So that's why sometimes you don't try to upgrade your OS, because sometimes it may break some tools or something. So just stick with it until it is required. So I didn't try to actually successfully complete that SMB map thing, but I'm just letting you all know, because if you all try to upgrade it to 2020.3, so probably you all may face the same issue with SMB map. Okay, so this thing is still not done. And if we look over here, obviously there are like multiple commands which are running. Okay, so this is how it actually works. It gives you the output directory. So I know it looks a bit confusing, and if you guys, some of you may already be aware what it's actually doing, right? So we saw that list shares, right? SMB client list shares. So the one which we saw over here, SMB client. So this is what it is. Okay, so this is what we actually did as well. We used that L switch over here, and we actually gave the IP over here itself. We did not give this I, but this is how this auto recon scan has done this. So you get the entire details present over here, and it's very good to have, because sometimes there are some new ports open, and it does some scans. So even I get to know about it, like looking at the scan result. So it looks a bit confusing. It's not very confusing though. In short, it's just doing the scan and saving the scan result to this particular file in this directory. Okay, so the guest mount is done over here. And if you do LSLA now, if you do CD VHD, so we are inside, and obviously if we check, obviously that entire VHD file has been mounted over here. Okay, so this is what it is, and we have it looks like obviously the Windows OS, the entire drive present over here, right? The C drive probably. So it's not that the Windows OS is running over here, it's just an external hard drive. So if there is a Windows hard drive present, right, and if you connect it to your Linux machine, the file permissions, and if you boot from your Linux obviously, but the OS is Linux itself, it's not booted using that hard drive which is Windows. So in short, that Windows permissions and everything, it's not going to work over there, because the permissions are set by your OS. It's not, so that hard drive, if you connect it, it's as good as all the files are accessible. Okay, so keep this in mind. So obviously if you run Windows, okay, and if you try the same with vice versa, it's going to do the same thing. So in short, what we'll try to do is, we have this entire directory present over here. First thing obviously I tried to do was go to the users directory. I can use LSLA very well, because it's a Linux machine itself, it's not Windows, not running Windows. And if we go over here, so first I thought, the user flag would probably be over here, like we just try to mount something, and then I was like, no, I think that's too easy. But the user flag is not present in the desktop directory over here. So it's not present, it's desktop.ini. So the user directory is not present over here. So what obviously the first thoughts what came was, like, if whenever we check Windows privilege escalation, I know we, like, in the previous video there were multiple videos for multiple boxes with kernel exploit itself. So whenever you do a privilege escalation, there's like probably a list, right? So you do from, obviously there are multiple lists available online, so you can refer that. But there are few that actually checks for the system and SAM file. Okay, so once you check those files, if you have read access to those files, probably you can get the hashes of the system. So if you guys don't know what the SAM file is actually the file where all the credential, like the hashes, are present, okay, of the users. So that's what it is, and we'll just try to see that if that is present, right? So we'll just go to the root C directory, go back again, and if we want, I guess we can just check out this thing. Obviously I do know where SAM file is present, but let's just look into it. SAM file location in Windows. And hope you guys are already aware that in the boxes, like in the target machine or any in your OS, you save the password, it's not in plain text, it's going to be in hash form. So if you see over here, it's present in Windows, System, and Config directory. So let's just use that. It's taking some time to load, so let's just do that. Okay. So we'll just go to CD, Windows, SLA. I think it'll take some time. Should have not done that. Okay, let's go to System 32 over here. Okay. And now if I do LSLA, it's going to take quite some time, I guess, just to check for that config directory, but obviously it's still present over here. And obviously, in short, since it's a VHD, as I explained earlier, we have access to all the files present. See, read, write, execute. This is not going to be the same case when you are actually in the Windows OS. Take some time, as I mentioned earlier. I'll just close this. Okay, till then we'll just go back to the exploit directory and let's just try to check out the tool which we are going to use, that is SamDom2, I guess. So let's just do that, SamDom2. Yeah, so this is the file which we are going to use. This is the tool which we are going to use to actually crack those, actually to read those SAM file and the system file and to give the hashes. Because let's just see in a bit what I'm speaking about. Okay, so let's just go to config directory, cd config. We are over here and we see that we have the SAM file. This is what we are looking for, not the SAM log, and this is the security, sorry, the security one, I guess. We just try to run this. No, sorry, system file, my bad. We require the system file, SAM file and the system file. Okay, so we have the SAM file present over here. What we'll try to do is we'll just try to copy the SAM file into this exploit directory over here, or probably we can enter it in the root directory as well. But for now, since this is already present, let's just do that. Over here, copy it. So copy the SAM file to this particular directory. Okay, do that. It's gonna take some time. It's done. We have the SAM file present over here. And then the other file as well, that is a system file. So we do that as well. We system, same directory, paste it. So that's done as well. So we have both these two files present over here. So obviously if we do cat and sam, so this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so it's not in readable format. Obviously there are many unreadable characters. So non-readable. So what I'll try to do is I'll just try to use SamTom too. Okay, and also I'll be giving the, if you see the usage, you have to give the system file first and the SAM file. So let's just do that. We'll be giving system and then SAM, and then we can output it to file that is SAM hashes txt. Okay, that's done. Let's just look into it. And we see that we get multiple hashes over here. Okay, so we have this administrator hash over here, we have this guest hash, but it says like it's disabled for some reason. And if you look over here, that these hashes are same, so these are like the NTLM hashes. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to use this particular this particular user is present, right? We'll just try to use and see if this particular hash works. So if first thing what I did was I got this hash, I tried to run it against John. We have seen it in the previous videos as well, and you can use John to actually brute force, not brute force, sorry, we'll give a dictionary, right, the rocku.txt, but I was not able to find this in rocku. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to use this. Let's just see and try to crack it in CrackStation. So we have CrackStation over here and we have to enter the hash. So if you enter this entire thing, okay, or even if you enter this, it's gonna say invalid or something like that. Crosswalks. It says like unrecognized hash format. So obviously we'll just remove the first part and we'll just try to add this itself. Okay, if you see over here, this thing is same over here as well. So obviously if we had the admin hash, right, we could use pass the hash. So if you guys are not aware, it's okay, but we could use that. But for now, since it's a user itself, probably some low level users, so that's why we'll try to use this. And if we look over here, obviously it says like hash, and this is the type NTLM, and this is what we get over here result. Okay, so let's just copy that. And now since we have the password as well, so what we'll try to do is credentials, or we can probably write potential credentials, because sometimes it may not work as well. And the user was just do that. And okay, so we have this credential present over here, right? So what I did first was, obviously I saw that this is not an admin user, so we cannot use ps exec, I guess, and use pass the hash or something like that, right? So that if you guys are not familiar with it, it's okay, but I tried all those things at first. Like I tried to check out this WSMAN as well, like 5985, but I was not able to log in over there. So I thought initially, because this particular port we can actually do remote management, so we can actually log in giving the user ID and password. I was not able to do it. So obviously those things did not work out for me. But what did work out was, obviously we have this SSH port over here, right? So obviously this thing is present. So let's just try our credentials over there and see if we get login, okay? Just give the username, that is, copy it, paste at 10.10.134. So we do get access over here, and if we do who am I, so now we are in the Windows machine, we are in the target machine itself. So we are not in attack machine anymore. That VHD things, let's just ignore that for now. We are in the target machine over here. If we do system info, oh, access denied. So I don't think we can run system info over here, but in short, obviously we are in the target machine. So we just come over here, mad dir. So this is what it looks like, Windows users. And so let's just go to users directory. I think we were over there only, we just came back. dir, and can go to desktop. Okay, dir. We have this user txt file present over here. Okay, so we can very well get it. It is like 32 bytes present, and we can very well get the user txt file. Okay, so what we'll try to do is we'll just go back to the directory, and I just want to show you obviously VHD file, just to avoid that confusion. Maybe some of you guys are confused like how I could access the VHD file earlier, like what I was trying to explain, right? Here we'll be having few restrictions since we cannot, obviously let's just try to do that first. We in the VHD file we did go to Windows directory, right? cd Windows, we can do that over here as well. Let's do let's do dir, and then later on go to system 32. So this is where we went, system 32, system 32 dir, and we get system 32 access as well. So now what we'll try to do is, obviously it's taking some time to actually complete. So we went to config directory, right? So let's just do that, cd config, and it says access is denied. So that's what I'm trying to tell you all, that this is actually an OS, right? Target OS is running. So if I do who am I over here, it's gonna say Bastion L4 MPJE. But if I do who am I over here, that's gonna be root at Kali. So that's obviously me. Okay, so that means I'm in the attack machine, and this is the target machine itself. So that's how the file permission will work based on the OS. Okay, so this is a small thing which I wanted to show. And obviously for privilege escalation, I tried to enumerate things manually, because I did try to run some privilege escalation scripts on it, like JAWS or something, but we were getting a lot of access denied, because if we saw earlier, we did not get system info as well, right? So what we'll try to do is, we'll just try to manually enumerate and check out things. If we get something, first obviously I check out things in the users directory itself, if there is anything present over there. Then I check out the program files and everything, if there's some application installed, I can probably do task list and see if what processes are running and all these kind of things. Okay, for now let's just look. Obviously first time when I do the box, I try to do all these things. I follow a checklist as well, and I try to do things, and eventually I come out with something, or I find something. So it's not that when I do the box, or eventually I see that oh, it looks interesting, let's just try to exploit it. Okay, so just telling you all because obviously sometimes you guys may be in the same place itself, like it takes some time to enumerate, so this is a part of learning. So let's just look into this program files. So we see obviously we have these common directories and files present over here. Also we have this remote mRemoteNG present. So let's just go into that. Okay, so if we go into this, obviously this is some application present over here, and there's changelog txt present as well. So if you want to know about the version number, so you can just check that out. Probably you can use type, and it's a huge list, I guess. So if we go on top, okay, it's a very huge, okay. So it's like 1.76.11. So this is what the release date is. So probably if you want to know the version number of the exploit or something, so this is useful. Like always look for changelog and web applications as well. So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to look at mRemoteNG exploit and see if there's something available. mRemoteNG exploit. So we have some Python script over here which we can look into later maybe. But if we look at this article over here, Hackers Vanguard, there is something present. Obviously we do not have GUI access, right? So this is when GUI access is present. There is some configuration file present over here. It says so in short, it says like you have this particular application has a configuration file present, and where we can crack the passwords, okay, if there are some users. So this is used for remote login, okay, so mRemoteNG, so you can authenticate using this password file, okay, and that's how this works, and it says the configuration file over there, so you guys can read on it more. But what we'll try to do is we just saw that navigate to this directory over here. It says or acquire the connections configuration file. Okay, so what we'll try to do is we'll just go over here, and to be honest, like when I first did the box, I saw that mRemoteNG directory, right? But obviously I just checked for app data over here because I thought that there'll be something present over here, users data or something, and I tried and I manually reached this directory. So it was for me the other way around, that I did not go to program files and that directory first and then came across over here. I first went over here and I saw the config file. I saw that there is something present over there. So that's how I tried to check out things. Then I looked into this thing that way. So it happens, back and forth. But this is what happened with me. So I just look into this particular file. Let's just go there. I think we can just do cd app data. Okay, I think we have to enter the username obviously. Just don't copy paste anything, just look into it sometimes. I know it will error out, so you guys may understand, but obviously you have to enter this username over here, and we come over here. If we do dir, we get multiple cons xml file, and these are the backup files, so you can check out these files as well. But let's just look into this and try to copy it into our system. You can use SCP over here, or you can try to set up a SMB server. So this is what I do. I try to set up a SMB server most of the times. So let's just try to do that. Just make a directory over here, SMB, just to be safe, cd SMB. Okay, we have that. We'll start our SMB server, sudo m packet SMB server. This is a tool present in Kali machine, so you can host a SMB server into your attack machine, So you can transfer files, you can copy files over there. So this is the best thing for Windows. I use this a lot for Windows, so I generally prefer it. Okay, so we have SMB server. You can just probably write mutated nuts over here. You can write any share name, but this share name will be required over here when we try to copy the file. Okay, then we'll be giving the path. Okay, so that is the SMB file path. Just do that, copy paste the SMB path, right? The SMB directory. So that path has to be entered. You enter the password for this, sudo password, and it's done. So what I'll try to do is I'll just try to copy this. Copy. I'm not sure this thing is not working fine, I guess, over here. Okay, my bad. For some reason, I just reduced the size over here of the terminal and it was acting weird. Okay, so we have copy over here. So now we have to give the share name, that is 10.10.14.28 and mutated nuts. That's the share name over here. First give the IP address. Obviously add backward slashes, don't add forward. In Linux we add forward, over here we have backward. So we add that and we give the file name over here. But first, obviously this is the location where we want to copy it to. So we require the file name to be present first, and then we require to add that target IP, attack machine's IP address. We can add mutated nuts and we can save it as this cons XML file itself. So let's just do that. And we see over here, obviously we got some connection over here, right? So if it gets over, it says one file is copied. So let's just look into it. And if we see over here, we have some file present, right? We see user administrator, username administrator, domain is blank, and password is this particular thing. Obviously, this is not the password. This is like probably base 64 encoded password or something. It's an encrypted password in short. It's not a hash as well. So it's an encrypted password, and on top as well, you get some encrypted characters data. And if we look over here, it says encryption engine, AES, GCM is used over here, block cipher mode. Okay, so in short, there are multiple things present over here, and we get a username, we get a username and password as well. We get the same over here itself. So what we try to do is, in short, we got this cons XML file, right? So if you look into it, it says that probably we can try to decrypt this file and use it. So this offline decoder over here for some reason did not work, which is modified from the Metasploit module. So it did not work for me, but I tried to play around with it as well, but it did not work. So what I did was, next thing, password decrypt, and we come across this GitHub page over here, and we have this mRemoteNG decrypt file. If you look into it, in short, we are passing password, right? So obviously we will be giving that particular password, and we'll be giving string, and we'll be giving that password, I guess, base 64 string, and it's going to decrypt that data. So it's going to take that encrypted data, it's going to decode it first, and then it's trying to, okay, if it does not find, it's going to add some salt. It's in short, it's going to do decryption, right? So that's what is going to happen over here, ciphertext, and it's going to take the key over here, it's going to create a key which is present, and also if the password present. So in short, see, encryption works because of a key or a password, right? So that's how it's going to get encrypted. That file is going to get encrypted. Without that thing, you cannot decrypt a file. It's not like cracking hashes. So there'll be some password present over here. So let's just look into it, how it works, and this whole thing, okay, how it's going to work. So let's just try to copy this. Create document, empty file, decrypt py, just save into that. Okay, so I copied it, pasted it, we'll run it with Python 3. Okay, that's fine. We probably have to give the S switch over here and P switch only if required. We'll look into this as well later. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to decrypt the file. So first thing, we require that particular password, right? So let's just try to do this. Let's just try to copy this thing and run the decrypt file. Just close this. Okay, just open a terminal over here. Python 3 decrypt py, and obviously it says like you have to enter a few things over here. So you can enter the string, that is this, and if you hit enter, we get a password present over here. So let's just try to see if this particular thing, credentials, works. Why administrator? Because obviously admin was written over there, right? Obviously, like sometimes in the box for some application, admin would be written or root would be written, and actually it would not be that particular user's password. It would be for some other user, but I don't think there's some other user over here. So let's just try this password as well and see if it works. Same thing, just don't require this anymore. So this is the same password, burial. Okay, so that means most probably this looks like an administrator password. Now what we'll try to do is we have Python 3 over here, we have decrypt.py as well. And the reason why it is decrypting file without we entering any key or password is because, let's just close this and open that decrypt.py file. By default, the password is already set as this thing. Okay, so mr3m, so this is the MNT default password, I guess. So before, obviously, when I tried to use this decrypt file first itself, I thought that probably we have to give some password, right? So I just thought for any password like the username or something like that, but that did not work because obviously when you have to decrypt a file, so this did not work, right? So when you have to decrypt a file, obviously you require a key or password. That's how you're going to decrypt it. That's how encryption works. So default was already present over here. So if you do that, sometimes just leave the default password as it is. So that's how it worked for me. Okay, so what I'll try to do is we have this default password over there, and we have this credential as well. We can just try to SSH into the box. Let's just close our SMB server, I guess. Just close it. We can exit over here. Okay, just try to SSH administrator and admin's password. So we are over here as administrator. If you do dir, we get the administrator directory listed. We go to desktop, we go dir, we get the root txt file as well, 32 characters, 32 bytes. Okay, so what we'll try to do now is we enter the administrator account using SSH, right? So we can just look at SMB map for now. So let's just do SMB map and do that's the username, administrator, and the password over here p, that is this, and also the host, that is 10.10.10.134. I just want to show you all how it is different and how it works for administrator user and guest user and normal user, how the shares are going to work. So for that L4 user as well, the shares were the same as the guest user. It was nothing different. So for administrator user, it is going to be different. And if we see over here, we have admin, okay, admin share present over here. We have read write access, okay, and we have read write access to C as well. So now if we use SMB client over here, okay, and we give this use switch, and we have to enter administrator, and I think this person sign. SMB client is a bit different, so you have to enter the username, password, and okay, my bad, first you have to enter the share as well, 10.10.10.134. the share, we can just add the C share, we'll just add that, and we'll add the IP again, 10.10.10.134. so this is what happens over here, my bad, where my won't work. So the entire C drive is listed over here, right? So this is what happens when you get admin access. But if you do not have admin access, you're not going to get read write access over here. Okay, so this is how it works. And other thing is, I guess you can do ps exec, locate ps exec. So you can use this ps exec tool over here, local bin, and it says the usage present, right? So we can just check out for it says domain username. I don't think there's a domain present over here, so probably we can mention local password, target IP address. Let's just see if it works without entering the domain for now. Let's just do administrator and the password with, okay, the password, okay, my bad. So these are the some like few things what I'm showing is that, you know, obviously if SSH was not present, what we'll try to do. So we'll just try to copy this password over here. We'll give administrator, and also we'll be giving the target IP address. Okay, so you can give that 10.10.10.134. See if this works. It says requesting shares, found writable share admin, uploading file. It's gonna upload some file, obviously, like a reverse shell. So it's like a semi-reverse shell on SMB map. It's gonna execute commands because we have write access over there, right? With the normal user, it does not work. So you need to have access over here. So that's how it's gonna work fully. It may take some time to load. So if you guys want to unmount this thing as well, you can just use guest umount, and you can do that. I can probably quickly show that. Go to cd mnt, and now we have all these files present over here, right? If we go to VHD, so we can probably just use guest umount and the share mnt VHD guest umount, right? Come on, not found. Just look into it. Guest unmount. Okay, so it's umount for this particular thing. Guest unmount MNT VHD. Okay, so that's done. So if we go to CHD VHD CD VHD, sorry. So that means that unmount is successful and we do not have the mount present over here. So probably we can just remove this directory as well. We do not require this anymore. So we have the backups directory over here. In order to remove that as well, you can just check out to unmount in Linux. So probably you can use the umount command over here, and we can enter the path which we want to unmount. So we use umount and the path which we want to unmount. So let's just do that. I'm just showing this because this is a beginner friendly video, and sometimes you may mount this and you want to unmount it, you may not know. So that's why most of you guys obviously may be aware about this. So just do umount, and we go to the backups directory now. My bad. So there's no file present over there. So in short, we have unmounted both of these files, the VHD as well as the SMB share. So what we'll try to do is now we'll just try to delete that directory as well. Just try to keep it neat and clean because this is the attack machine which you're going to run. So yeah, that's it. That's what is done. We can exit from that root shell. Okay, so we are in Kali over here now. Okay, so we did execute, and if we see over here, we are over here in Windows system present. Okay, so that's like a shell over here. We have dir. You can probably check. It's taking some time. It's quite slow. Let's just do system info, see if it works. For some reason it does not. Okay, I think it froze. But yeah, in short, we can get the shell over here as well. We got it from SSH. Okay, so that was the box, and if you guys liked the video, do give a thumbs up. It was kind of an easy box. Obviously, it was nothing very difficult to do. You had to find few things. Okay, so system info did work over here. I think there was a typo over here, I guess. No, I don't think so, but yeah. So in short, it's printing everything, Bastion and Windows Server 2016. It's quite slow, but yeah, it does work. So it's a 64-bit system. You can get something like few patches are installed over here, so no kernel exploitation. Okay, so this was the box. If you guys like the video, do give a thumbs up and do subscribe for more upcoming videos. If you all have any queries, you all can drop it in the comments below. Thanks a lot.